Thank you, Lance, and welcome everyone. And thank you for tuning in to this Connections virtual event about graphs and the cloud. I think we have a really exciting day ahead of us. I'm going to kick things off and take 20 or 30 minutes or so and open things up and talk a little bit about how I believe that graphs and the cloud can accelerate innovation. And innovation, in my mind, is about solving basically the intersection of problems that are, on one hand, really hard, and on the other hand, really valuable. So we've always heard people say that, everything is connected, everyone is connected. And sometimes these connections are easy to see, and sometimes they're not. People, I think, human beings tend to cut reality into compartments sometimes. And when they do that, it's sometimes hard to see all of those interdependencies of your daily life. But if we think about our interactions on a daily basis in the real world, it's actually pretty mind-boggling how connected everything we do is to so many other things, right? Be it banking, taking an Uber, shopping, watching TV, going to the dentist, driving. Each simple interaction, each behavior has a deep chain of other interactions that are all related, that are connected. Here at Neo4j, we quite obviously take the point of view that everything is connected. Nothing exists in isolation. It always exists in the context of something else, regardless of use case, domain, industry, or entity. Everything is tied together, everything is connected. And I believe this is true wherever you look. It's true in your own organization, it's true in the supply chain, it's true in your customers, in health research, in fraud networks. You just go down the list. Anywhere you look, there's a chance that you see connections, both obvious ones and less obvious ones. Now, companies are quickly realizing the importance of uncovering those connections to understand the context of their data better and the dependencies that are embedded in their business. And I think this became very stark in 2020 when basically every business that was shipping physical products became deeply aware of the deep dependencies that they had on a physical multi-level supply chain. Because when you got some kind of an interruption 3, 4, 5, 6 depth down from you, that still really impacted your business. And companies want to be able to understand that and operate on that. And in order to do that, they have to digitalize that. And in order to digitalize that, they have to be able to take those connections and work with them and store them and operate on them as data. It used to be just data in isolation, but now it's about data and its connections. Graphs, I believe, they are the natural way to reveal, to manage, and even discover those relationships in data. Graphs, they end up modeling the real world. They model how the real world works, and they model actually how our minds work. And in contrast, if you look at other types of databases, a relational database or a document database or something else, typically amazing pieces of technology they're designed to be optimized for the infrastructure and the storage that they run on. Graphs, on the other hand, are designed to mimic the data and the patterns naturally. Other databases might be fantastic at storing and retrieving exactly the data that they stored, right? But they may be stripping the meaning from that data. And this is why graphs are at the heart of building intelligent applications and making new and hopefully insightful discoveries about your business or your customers. Those hopefully insightful discoveries might be recommendations or customer 360, security analysis, drug discovery, machine learning. Graphs and graph analytics are core to all of that. In the last few years, we've seen a strong level of interest and validation of the use of graphs because of all the reasons that I just talked about, from industry analysts. Folks like Gartner say that finding relationships using graph techniques at scale will form the foundation of modern data and modern analytics. And they really call out graphs for excelling at finding the non-obvious, because you can see patterns even when you don't know what to look for, which is basically on some level what all our predictive data science is trying to do. If you look to academia, you see further validation of the growth and adoption of graphs. This chart that you have here on this slide shows an exponential growth in AI research papers that are featuring graphs. It's truly taking off amongst the leading researchers on the planet, moving forward and advancing the art of machine learning and AI. And if you look at community and commercial adoption, graph databases have actually been the fastest growing database category by a mile in most of the last decade. And here at Neo4j, we have a rapidly growing and thriving community of graph developers, and we see tens of thousands of meetups and events around graphs. Also, even among the enterprise, we've seen great adoption of graph technology and Neo4j. In fact, this might be an archaeological example if you think about the COVID era that we live in. But if any of you might recall that we used to get on airplanes back in the days pre-COVID. And if any of you have booked a flight ticket, which hopefully we all will start doing again soon, you've used Neo4j. 99% of all airfare calculations on the planet use Neo4j. And if you get on that flight and you get onto a hotel, the biggest hotel chain in the world, Marriott, is using Neo4j to do price calculations of all the rooms, right? So very likely you've used Neo4j in the past, in the present, and will use it going forward in the future. And you're not alone. Every day, thousands of customers, anywhere from small startups to all the way up to the biggest companies on the planet, rely on graphs and rely on Neo4j to keep their businesses running. And those are customers. Some of you are on this call today. They teach us every day how graphs can be used to solve critical and valuable and hard problems in ways that has never been solved before. And I'm always really amazed by that innovative use of our technology when it comes to solving life-changing problems. This is one of the amazing benefits and privileges of building horizontal technology. There's no way that I could have foreseen any, or maybe not any, but all of the amazing applications that people use our technology for, whether it's curing diseases, making their customers and employees more productive, improving carbon footprint or sustainability, providing rich customer experience, managing risk. There are tons of stories about this that we hear every day that frankly surprise me every day, surprise and delight. So let me share a few of those stories with you here. So I picked some of my favorite examples. They're not, I'm not going to say that they're all my favorite examples. This is like, choosing your favorite child or something like that. There are so many amazing stories out there, but I picked out a few where our graph technology have been used to solve that intersection of hard and valuable problems. So the first one is the FinCEN files. And last year, you might recall, on the news, there was a big story about the so-called FinCEN files. And what FinCEN did was that it exposed a large-scale money laundering scheme, which involved a vast network of oligarchs, political elites, criminal groups, and even big financial institutions. This work was done by the ICIJ, the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. And they used, among many other tools, Neo4j to explore thousands of documents, records, and transactions piecing together a really detailed and nuanced and sophisticated picture of this crime puzzle. So that's one story. The second story is Astrazeneca, which is obviously a global pharma company, and they map and analyze patient journeys across their wide network of doctors, clinics, care centers. They apply graph algorithms, look for correlations and similarities, and help provide the best, right, the proper treatment, and even nudge patients to intervene sooner to provide better care and treatments. NASA, as we know, they have 50 plus years of valuable insight and data from all their missions and research work. Using this knowledge that they built up, again, over half a century, and apply that to their current project is key for success for them. But what makes that complex is that they continuously, of course, gather massive amounts of new information in very diverse and unstructured formats. With Neo4j, they were able to save over 2 years of work and millions of dollars on their mission to Mars. So humanity will get to Mars 2 years earlier thanks to Neo4j and graphs, which I think is just about the coolest thing ever. Fourth example, Worldline. For those of you who live in Europe, you might recall this brand. If not, it's a leading payment processor here in Europe. They handle digital transactions, e-ticketing for transport systems, bus, trains, and so on and so forth, among others. They have taken up this task, I think probably a pretty significant task, of modernizing the UK rail ticketing system and journey planning, which is a system that has its roots all the way back to the 70s. For them, graphs were a very natural fit. And on some level, this actually goes back to the origin of not even graph databases, but graph theory, the mathematical discipline upon which we built Neo4j, which of course goes all the way back to the 1700s and the mathematician Leonhard Euler, who on some level, the problem he tried to solve was very similar to journey planning with Worldline. So graphs were a natural fit for them, and they picked our cloud offering so that they can stay completely focused on what they're good at, which is, of course, transportation, without worrying about databases or infrastructure, keeping systems up and running day and night. And then last but not least in any way or shape or form is COVID graph. And this is a project that personally I feel extremely fortunate to be part of through Neo4j. And this happened at a time when the entire medical community, just about, I guess, 11 months ago, right, in March and April of 2020, when the entire medical community was scrambling to research and find cures for COVID. And then COVID Graph, which is a volunteer-based project, it was set up as a publicly accessible research platform, which is available both to researchers, to medical professionals, to provide them with really valuable information related to the virus from the entire maze of academic papers, patents, treatments, medications that, of course, flourished in the world at the time. And COVID Graph really helped researchers to more efficiently find information for their really, of course, crucial and time-critical and amazingly important work. We're really, really happy that we could be part of this amazing effort. So that gives you a little bit of a flavor of some of the amazingly innovative applications of graph technologies that some of our customers and users and partners have been working on. So shifting gear a little bit, here at Neo4j, we believe that graphs are everywhere. And this has been our motto or our slogan for quite some time. But we also work hard to make sure that graphs are available to anyone, anywhere, wherever the data is and wherever the application is. And over the years, we've expanded our product portfolio to provide graphs in a variety of form factors. We used to be open source, we still are open source. We grew up as an open source company where our community edition is an extremely popular, it used to an extremely popular version of our software, and it used to be the only version of our software. Today, we've expanded across a number of different dimensions. And this allows our users to be able to build their graph applications absolutely anywhere. It's graphs for everyone, not just graphs are everywhere, but graphs for everyone. And the way that I think of this is that, as an organization, you could be at any stage in your cloud journey, right? Whether private cloud or hybrid, lift and shift, fully cloud native. And my goal is that wherever you are on that journey, Neo4j should be available for you in a form factor that fits for that stage in the journey. And I think it's really important to have a technology that can live and swap across these environments seamlessly. This portability and flexibility is very core to our strategy. And with Neo4j Aura, then, we take that advantage to the next level. This is so that we can provide access to graphs easily on the cloud, absolutely anywhere. So then as an organization, you can start with Aura. You can sign up online, by yourself, swipe your credit card, start with as little as $65 a month, right? Or you can go and you can buy a white glove sales process with our sales engineers and support teams supporting an enterprise-wide and enterprise critical application. You can buy directly from us, from Neo4j, or you can buy via your cloud provider marketplace. And with the latter, that then allows you to get a single bill from your cloud, whichever cloud platform you're choosing for your enterprise. And you get a single bill from them, and you can use your enterprise spend credits with that cloud platform against your Aura usage. And this multi-cloud facet is very core to our strategy, and we will be on all clouds, support your workloads wherever you are, anywhere in the world. So Aura really brings the best of both worlds. It is a graph native database platform in a cloud native way. And when our engineers have been extremely hard at work building this for several years now, natively on top of Kubernetes, they've designed the product to ensure that it works seamlessly in a cloud native application environment, which then builds on the simplicity, the flexibility, and the reliability of the cloud. And this in turn provides some distinct advantages. So first of all, you get a plug and play graph database, which plugs seamlessly into your microservices-based architecture, which gives you this flexibility to use the best tools for the job. When I grew up as a professional programmer in the mid-90s, the standard architecture for applications were the 3-tier application. In fact, it was 2-tier initially, but then it became a 3-tier application or 3-tier architecture. We had a business layer, you had a presentation layer, and then a business layer, and then that all connected to one monolithic, single, standalone relational database. And that business layer was itself one monolith. In a modern cloud native world, we split this up into several microservices, and then each of them can use the perfect storage, the perfect database for that specific microservice. And so that gives you all that flexibility to choose the best tool for the job, which makes it easier to adopt and just get started quickly. So that's the first one. And then secondly, this means that you can iterate faster, right? You can focus on your core problem. You don't have to worry about managing or maintaining the database ever, right? Neo4j runs without any downtime. It continuously improves without any effort from you whatsoever. So you can stay in the zone, focused on solving problems for your business. And then as a developer, or for that matter, a data engineer or a data scientist, this ease of use and this adoption, it lets you pick this up very easily, try it out without any help needed from procurement or with infrastructure from IT or what it may be. And this allows you to quickly prototype, and make the best technology decision for your specific project by trying hands-on. And then lastly, and not at all least in this kind of very remote-centric COVID world that we still live in, Aura, as a cloud service, provides easy access anywhere in the world. This means that you can easily collaborate across the pond, whether you're working remotely, in an office, or in any part of the world. Which means that if you're a developer, in North America, you can work with your data science team across the ocean, and with your other data science team or your other developer counterparts in Asia, right? And you can quickly analyze, work on connected data, and work together with zero friction. So in summary then, to wrap up this introduction, I believe that graph native on one hand and cloud native on the other gives you this power to solve problems that are that intersection, that live in that intersection that we started out talking about. They're hard to solve, but B, they're also really valuable. And that is why I believe that graphs and cloud can accelerate innovation. And I'm really looking forward to go with you all together on our journey, our common journey towards a cloud-first company. So thanks everyone for listening and paying attention. And now let me hand off to Kurt Freitag to tell us more about Aura.